What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, and it's Tuesday for our first week officially of having football on Sunday and coming here and talking some football because last week we obviously were still previewing the games. None of the games had happened yet, but what a crazy and wild week one it really was because there was a lot of things that went down. So we're a couple minutes late here. Sorry about that, guys. I kind of spilt my water on the next to me as I was about to press play, and I kind of don't want to sit in all the kind of wet stuff, so I had to clean it up real quick. But got a new water, and we're good to go. So before I get to any of the information going down, let's talk and let's get to the chat. We got a lot of chats, and let's talk about, obviously, the big story of last night and possibly of week one that could change a lot of things. Is obviously New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles last night and will be out for the remainder of the 2023-2024 season. Is looking at 8 to 12 months of rehab and treatment and everything like that. So it shall be very interesting to see what goes down with Mr. Aaron and see if he wants to come back at the age of 39, if he wants to hang it up or what. Not, and definitely not the way I thought Aaron Rodgers' career would end in New York after just 4 plays. So let's get it. Let's see what Jadis has got to say. I got Jadis in the house. Achilles for Rodgers. The MRI did confirm it, and he is out. Jadis, you very well might be right on this statement because the New York teams got screwed. They got beat 40-0 on Sunday night, and then Monday night they lose their player that they've hyped around. And they've done everything that they've done all year round. Jadis asked a question about J.K. Dobbins. So another injury that happened was J.K. Dobbins is out for the year also, as J.K. Dobbins has an injury. He asked, do you think J.T., Jonathan Taylor, goes to the Ravens? I mean, J.T. is open to it. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's really not. That would not be a bad idea for the Ravens, but shall be very interesting to see what happens with Mr. Jonathan Taylor. I heard a report that Jonathan Taylor said he could have played if they allowed him to and didn't put him on the PUP list. So I don't know. Also, I said that the Jets hype could be still up there because of the win last night. That win, I mean, yes, possibly. But do we really think that Zach Wilson is going to make that big of a turnaround? I mean, I will say the defenses and everything did look pretty good and everything last night. So, I mean, possibly it all just really depends on how Zach Wilson plays. I just wish this never happened. Jadis, that's why you just never know, bro. You really don't. He said, I wanted to see Aaron and Patrick. Bro, the Jets have so many primetime games, it's kind of gross. So, yeah. Hard Knocks literally was nothing, in my opinion, as they did a Hard Knocks for Aaron Rodgers, pretty much. Like, nobody's going to go back and watch that now because it's going to be so sad and miserable. We got Miss Missy in the house. What's up, Missy? You know that Derek Carr and Devontae Adams was the thing. I feel like they were hyping that too much, but now I can't say that because Aaron Rodgers is hurt and that hype might not be possible. I mean, Derek Carr and Devontae Adams might work out, or no, you're talking about Jimmy Garoppolo and Devontae Adams. Derek Carr is on the Saints now with Chris Olave. So, yeah. But, I mean, it could be possible. We'll just have to see what happens. I believe Hard Knocks was literally it was. No, you're right. Missy says she might have to go because she got a haircut. Missy, I understand that. I understand. Missy's I don't know. Week one, just garbage, he says. Just garbage. Is this worse than the Packers QB that couldn't play or the Packers QB that couldn't play last night, if you remember what you... I mean... Jadis, I don't even know. Bro, I really don't. Like, it's so crazy the fact that Aaron Rodgers got hurt 4 plays in and Jordan Love destroyed the Bears. It's just not what we expected to happen. So, it might be. I'm praying Travis Kelce plays not. I'm praying Travis Kelce plays. I need Travis Kelce. Not going to lie, Tina. I mean, bro, he kind of did. I do not believe that Aaron Rodgers will be back by the playoffs. No, he will be out for 8 to 12 months, and he will definitely need a lot of rehab and everything. So, yeah. Jay just says, love the thumbnail. I appreciate you. I think he'll have a better season, but I don't know if that's going to lead the Jets to the playoffs. So, yeah. Devontae Smith also had a baby girl. Congratulations to the Smith family for having a baby girl. Devontae Smith going to go out and ball out for those Philadelphia Eagles. But now let's get into all of the information, guys. Keep writing all your comments, your concerns, and everything. But we're going to go through all of this information right here. And then I'll get back to your comments, and then we'll do part 2. So let's not waste any more time, guys, and let's get to all of the information that we got going down here. We just went over the fantasy headlines, obviously, as the big news being Aaron Rodgers. We also have other injuries and stuff like that that we'll get to after we talk about the Monday night game. It is only week 1. I will say that is another headline. So if you're 0-1, don't be down too much. If you're 1-0, don't get too excited because it's week 1. So there's still a lot of time. We got 17 weeks of the season. And honestly, unless you had an injury like the Aaron Rodgers, something like that, I feel like you need to relax because it could be worse. You could not have your quarterback, and we could be Jets fans. Cooper Kupp also, Cooper Kupp and everything. But before we get to the injuries, let's talk about that Monday Night Football game because we did have football last night. And, So let's go on and let's talk about that Monday Night Football game because it was the Jets and the Bills. As you guys know, we were here watching it last night with Leo and Lamar for a little bit, and then we had Rocco come and hang out for a little bit, but we still had football to play. It happened in the 4th play of the game. It was awful, and it kind of diminished the game a little bit, but they still went out there and they still played football, and the New York Jets went out to win the game 22-16. As Jay just said earlier, that win might have very well have been for Aaron Rodgers. So the Jets did their thing. They're 1-0. And they're flying high. And now it's on to the next week. So let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. Because Josh Allen didn't have a phenomenal week. He really did not. But he had 236 yards. He only had 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. He did have 36 rushing yards. And he did lose a fumble. So I wouldn't say it was a phenomenal performance. But as I said, it is week 1, guys. So you don't want to freak out too much. There's no reason to. And James Cook proved that he might very well be the leading rusher all year as Damian Harris got 1 rush and James Cook got 12 rushes. So it looks like James Cook is the starter for those Buffalo Bills. And, I will say that Jets defense did very well last night. So, maybe the Jets defense is just going to be better than we expected. Well, the one guy that did phenomenal on the Bills, that is our guy, Stefon Diggs, number 14. He went out there. He had 10 receptions, 102 yards, and he caught himself a touchdown. Gabe Davis had 2 receptions for 32 yards. The new tight end had himself 4 receptions for 26 yards. And Dawson Knox, he still got involved. He got three receptions for 25 yards. And James Cook even got involved with 4 receptions for 17 yards. So, if you started James Cook in your flex, he got you like 9 or 10 points. And, that's more points than Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, George Kittle. There's a lot of guys there, but, But let's talk about those Jets, those mighty Jets, because we got to talk about, and I want to say, shout out to my man Warren, my man buzzing with Marlo Warren. He decided, because he thought that Breece Hall would be out, he decided to drop Breece Hall for the Jaguars defense. So your boy Tino went and scooped him right up, and he went out there last night and proved that he very well might be the leading rusher this year for the New York Jets. And they may lean on Breece Hall a lot more now that they're going and they have Zach Wilson as the quarterback. There has been rumors of them possibly going out and having somebody like a Joe Flacco return, somebody like that, somebody, this and that. But we'll have to see what happens. Dalvin Cook, he got himself 33 yards. Dalvin Cook also had 3 receptions for 26 yards, so that wasn't bad. Garrett Wilson, though, had 5 receptions. He very well might have made the catch of the year already with 34 yards and a touchdown. So that was the Monday Night Football game. And if you had any of those players, you're probably feeling really good, unless if you had Aaron Rodgers, because Aaron Rodgers literally did not complete a pass at all. So, yeah. But now let's get to, and let's talk about these injuries, because also having an Achilles injury is our guy, J.K. Dobbins. So we'll talk about the backup running back in a little bit that I do think that you guys can go get out in the waiver wire. But if you don't know who that is, it's Justice Hill. Seems like Justice Hill will be the running back going forward and everything like that. So we will just have to see what happens and what goes down. But he had 9 yards. He did only have 9 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns, and he got himself. He did not. I'm sorry, he didn't. I thought he got a couple catches, but I guess not. So maybe Justice Hill isn't the best option. But somebody that is a good option on the Ravens, if he hasn't been taken yet, is Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers is somebody I'm mad I wasn't able to get because I really wanted him in some of my leagues, but I just didn't have the opportunity to get him. But Zay Flowers on the Ravens, spoiler, go pick him up. But back to the injuries. We got Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson was not going to be able to catch touchdowns last year. He had a lot of receptions and a lot of yards, but it looks like Deontay Johnson's going to be out now 2 to 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. So that really elevates somebody like a George Pickens. We have Pat Freiermuth is dealing with a chest injury for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're going to have to keep an eye out. And as I always say here on the episode, guys, it is only Tuesday and a lot of things can happen. Travis Kelce is seeming to be trending in the right direction to be playing, but maybe they hold him out one more week and make sure that he is all ready and he's ready to go. So we're going to have to see with that. Anthony Richardson, he left the game at like the end of the game, it seemed like, but it looks like he will be okay and good to go. Austin Eckler, big injury. I don't know what's going down with Austin Eckler, but apparently he has an ankle injury. And again, it's just somebody you want to keep an eye out, and you just want to keep and see what's going to be going down with that. So there are a lot of injuries and everything. Greg Dulcich is questionable. There's a lot of people. But as I say, it's Tuesday, so just keep an eye out on the injury report, guys, and make sure that you guys looking for and you know what's going down. Because, yes, we got a Thursday night game. It's with the Eagles and Vikings. So if there is any big injuries that you're worried about, I do believe that Dallas Goedert will get a catch this Thursday. At least I hope so. So we'll have to see. But those are the injuries that we have coming out of week 1, going out of week 1 and coming into week 2. So now let's talk about the 3 things that I learned this week. And then we're going to get into the top performances and the biggest disappointments of week 1. And let's talk about it. So now let's get to the 3 things that I learned. First thing, pure luck. Guys, pure luck. Guys, I cannot tell you how many people in leagues this week that I saw that in one league, I had a guy that scored 76 points. I had a guy that scored 83 points. I only scored 103 in one of my leagues. And then there was a guy that had 165 points. It is literally pure luck. You could have the best roster of all time. I was projected to get 41 I think not 41. It was 31. And I was projected to get 17.9 from Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase. Well, Ja'Marr Chase went out there and scored about 7 points, if that. I think it was like 5 points to be exact. And Joe Burrow went out there, and I think he very well might have only got like 4.94 points. So projections mean nothing, and it's absolutely pure luck. Unless if you're Justin Jefferson and it's just glued to your hand and you just catch it and run the ball up the middle. So fantasy football, guys, pure luck. It really doesn't matter who you think's going to do good, who you think's going to do bad, because in reality, just set your lineups, go off the numbers, and hope for the best. That's why I always say, I always try to set my lineups at like 11:30, and then I try to just watch the games and enjoy them, because I don't want to get too in like, it ruins my time. So I know the players that I have. If I know they get a touchdown or something, I celebrate. If there's a guy I know that I'm facing, I get upset. But I try not to look at it because it's just one of those things. So, number 2, Packers I don't want to say it, but I gotta say, guys, the Packers still own the Bears. It don't matter who the quarterback is. That organization just loves to torment us Chicago people. And Jordan Love came out. He scored over 30 plus points for fantasy. Aaron Jones had himself a day. Big draft miss for me. I should have taken him over somebody else I took in one of my leagues, but that's okay. But Packers still own the Bears. And yeah, I just needed to get that out because it's been a bad week for Bears fans. So, yeah. But the last thing I learned this week is, can we please PSA to fantasy football leagues everywhere? Can we remove the tight end position? Travis Kelce was out. Mark Andrews was out. George Kittle did nothing. The highest rated tight end was Hunter Henry. Hayden Hurst had a touchdown. There were all these guys that were getting touchdowns that I had no idea who exactly and what they were doing. So, can we please remove the tight end position because I'm over it. Now, those are the three things that I learned coming out of week one, going into week two. Now, let's get to those disappointments, those guys that you started this week that were straight up booty, that they costed you your week, and you're starting off the season 0-1. And I feel like my whole entire team's on this list. And it's funny because the first guy I'm going to name is one of the leagues that I won in, and I only won in 2 out of 4 of my leagues. So, yeah. But Saquon Barkley, he didn't have a very good game. The Cowboys put up 50 points of fantasy. They shut out the Giants 40-0. As Jada said earlier, the New York MetLife Stadium is cursed, and we don't know what's going down. But Saquon Barkley didn't have a very good performance. He did almost get double-digit points, but I don't want to panic on Saquon Barkley because Saquon Barkley is Saquon Barkley, and I think Saquon Barkley will bounce back, and he will be perfectly fine. Ja'Marr Chase, as I just mentioned, Ja'Marr Chase, I thought he had 7 points. I guess he had 9.1, but it really didn't make a difference because his counterpart, Joe Burrow, in one of my leagues, he had 4.94 points, and in one league, he had 3.8 points. So I figured I'd take the lower one because that just, either way, it's not good. So Joe Burrow, Ja'Marr Chase did not do that at all. And those were 2 of the guys I kept in one of my leagues. So part of the reason why I lost this week. But also another quarterback that just did not do anything is Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson only had 6.6 points in some leagues, maybe about 8.89 in other leagues, just depending on how your scoring is. And Lamar Jackson just did not have himself a good day at all. Now, T. Higgins, he had a big goose egg. He had 0 points. And the only way to go up from here is to go out and at least have a catch, because then T. Higgins will score a point. So we'll have to see. George Kittle, I mentioned George Kittle about the tight ends. Remove the tight end position, please. George Kittle, 4.9 points. George Kittle, I don't know what we're doing here, guy. I love you, but these tight ends are just driving me absolutely insane. And the last big disappointment that I have on the list for the week is my guy from the Chicago Bears. It's DJ Moore. I don't know what was going on. Justin Fields only threw him the ball 3 times. He caught the ball twice for 25 yards. He got 4.5 points, and DJ Moore just went out there. And I don't know. The Bears traded the first overall pick for him. I don't want to worry about him too much. But if you're going to try to trade, I would try to trade him right now while his value is low. Maybe somebody will want him. Maybe somebody will take a risk on him. Maybe I don't know. So maybe if you could try to sell low on him, or if you want to buy high or buy low on him, I should say. That's what I meant to say, is buy low on DJ Moore. If you want to go out there, maybe somebody's feeling kind of sad, they're mad, because I think DJ Moore is going to be perfectly fine. And I think if you do have Justin Fields, I think that if you go and have Justin Fields and DJ Moore, I think that it would be an absolute great stack. And I think eventually it will work out for them. And I'm not just saying that as a Bears fan. It's going to work out, and I do believe that it will. And if it doesn't, I will come here and I will sit here on the channel and listen to you guys torment me about my Chicago Bears. So, yeah. But those were 7 guys that were huge disappointments for the week. And there were a lot of disappointments, guys. Like I said, the scoring for this week was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely just, I was not None of it. It was just not very good. I do see your guys' chats, so make sure that you guys keep asking questions, keep letting me know how you guys are feeling. I will get to and I will answer all of them after we do the last segment on this part and part one of the Fantasy Football Show, as we go over the top 10 guys that had great weeks, that if you had these guys, they having themselves a phenomenal week. You probably won and you're feeling really good. So let's go out and let's start with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill went out and had over 40 points. He had 200 receiving yards. He went out there and just absolutely did his thing. Tyreek Hill, number one wide receiver. If you had him and you lost, I don't even know what happened. But Tyreek Hill doing his thing. Tua Tagovailoa. Tua went out and had 466 yards. Obviously, 200 of those went to Tyreek Hill. He had 3 touchdowns. And depending on what your scoring is, he had 27.1 points in some leagues, and he had 35 point something in other leagues, I think. Brandon Ayuk went out there and scored 2 touchdowns, had 20-plus fantasy points, and Brandon Ayuk might very well be that number one wide receiver in San Francisco. We got them boys. We got the Cowboys, guys. Them boys, Dallas went out there on Sunday night, and they absolutely destroyed the New York Giants. Daniel Jones didn't know what to do. The Giants were lost. Saquon Barkley didn't do anything. But the Cowboys knew what to do. They kept sacking. They kept punting. They kept blocking. They kept intercepting. They kept scoring touchdowns. And in some leagues, in one of my leagues, they got 33 points. And in one of my other leagues, because the scoring is different, they got a 50 burger. If you had the Cowboys defense and you got 50 points, that's from a defense. That is ridiculous. So if you were lucky enough to draft them boys in the draft and you drafted them out of and away from your counterparts, then you're probably won this week. I know in one of my leagues, my cousin, I think he scored like 177 points or something. And that was mostly because of the Cowboys. But Aaron Jones, I said that the Packers own the Bears. Aaron Jones very well just might do the same, as he has 26.7 points. He had 2 touchdowns. He was stretching on the field. He barely played the fourth quarter. And the fact that he almost had 30 points makes me regret not keeping him, even though he's a Green Bay Fudge Packer. I would love to have those 26 fantasy points on my team right now. So, Aaron Jones owners, you're feeling really good. Tony Pollard, though. Tony Pollard also had a very good game. He didn't go out and have 50 points, but he still had 22.2 points. So, I mean, Tony Pollard, if you were able to get him, if you kept him, whatever it was with Tony Pollard, I mean, you're probably feeling really good. So, Jakobi Meyers, though. Jakobi Meyers, I didn't mention him. He is also dealing, I think, with a concussion, if I'm not mistaken. But Jakobi Meyers went out and had 29 points. Jimmy Garoppolo was like, I'm from the New England Patriots in 2017, and he brought out Jakobi Meyers back from the dead, and he was feeling really good. Christian McCaffrey, number 2 overall pick, most leagues. He went out and had 25.9 points, and Christian McCaffrey did his thing. Christian McCaffrey didn't get injured, but Austin Eckler is apparently dealing with a ankle injury. And I really hope that he's not out because I really need him in one of my leagues. So let's pray that Austin Eckler plays this week because he went out at 26.4 points. He scored 0.9 points more than Christian McCaffrey. And I just really hope that Austin Eckler is okay because he's just so much fun to watch. Honestly, I hate seeing guys get hurt. It's one of the saddest things just to see these people go out, get ready, do their thing, and then they get hurt. It's not okay. It just sucks. And number 10, it was the number 101 overall pick. He told us why. His name is Jetta. His name is Justin Jefferson. And as sad as he looked on the sideline after the Vikings lost on Sunday, fantasy owners were feeling really good with his 24 points. As Justin Jefferson continues to prove why he is the number 1 wide receiver in all of the NFL and in all of fantasy football. So those are all of the top performances, disappointments, and everything like that for week 1 of the fantasy football season. So before we get back into the chat and before we go over everything else for preview in week 2, let's get to the chat. But I'm going to say And I'm going to get a drink of water. I was dying of thirst there. I'm sorry, guys. My bad. You guys just had to sit there and watch me just sit there and just be so happy. Anyway, that kid, Jay just said that kid just. Jadis, you're funny, bro. We got Cooper Kupp. Yes, we do. Cooper Kupp. MRI tells you everything. Yes, it does. Nia Jax makes no sense. We'll talk more about Nia Jax tonight on NXT when we go live for NXT. Josh Allen had 3 interceptions to Whitehair. I didn't know it was to the same guy. He said, who is the better Cook, James Cook or Dalvin Cook? I mean, right now, it very well might be Dalvin Cook James Cook. I'm sorry, James Cook, because James Cook is out there balling, and he very well might be the number 1 wide receiver, number 1 running back for the Buffalo Bills. So I'm gonna go James Cook on that one. Missy says, Chris is being mean to me. You should beat him up. Chris, don't be mean to Missy, bro. Trent called the pick 6 for the Eagles, and Josh Allen didn't get a bomb to Diggs, but they did win. I mean, Stephon Diggs did get 10 receptions and 100 yards and a touchdown. So I'll take it. He got you 8 points last night, 81 yards. Dallas Goedert. Yes, Dallas Goedert was another one. I forgot to mention Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is another one that had a giant goose egg. There were so many disappointments this week that's why I said this week. And fantasy football is pure luck because you could set your lineup. You could have the best players in the world, but we don't know if somebody's going to go out there and get hurt. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the weather is going to be. I mean, anything could happen. I mean, fantasy football is fun, but it's also stressful. Would you trade Justin Fields for George Kittle, Dalvin Cook, and Derek Carr? Honestly, that's not a bad trade, and I would do it because you get a tight end. Yes, I was just talking shenanigans about Mr. George Kittle, but George Kittle is still a good tight end, and he's in one of the best and most potent offenses in the NFL. So I believe that would be good. And Patrick Mahomes, everybody's freaking out about Patrick Mahomes, and if somebody wants to trade me Patrick Mahomes, I am more than happy to take Patrick Mahomes off your hands. Because Patrick Mahomes, yes, he doesn't have a lot of receivers, but hopefully Travis Kelce plays this week. He's still got Isaiah Pacheco. He's got Jerick McKinnon. He's got Breece Bell that came out of nowhere and scored 10 points on Thursday. They're going to want to redeem themselves this week after getting embarrassed on national television as they raise their banner against the Detroit Lions of all teams. I mean, let's be real here. Yes, the Lions have been very good lately. But they're still the Detroit Lions. Nobody wants to lose to the Detroit Lions. I did not hear about Justin Jefferson being hurt. Dalvin Cook don't really have yards. He didn't, but he did get 9 points. He got 9 points in a half-point PPR league. So if he's a regular PPR league, like full point, he probably got you like 13 and 14. So for a flex, that's really not that bad. Yeah, Justin Fields, I mean, I would. I mean, listen, if you're getting 3 players for Justin Fields, I mean, I'd do that all day long. So let's get into and let's start talking and let's get into week 2 and let's start previewing week 2. No, Justin Jefferson is not hurt. No, not Justin Jefferson. So now let's get into week 2. And let's start talking about the teams that are on buys. There's no teams on buys this week, obviously, because it's only week 2. So, yeah. So now let's get into our bold predictions here for week 2 of the NFL season. And I am going to go, and I am going to be very, very bold. Well, I guess I wouldn't even say very bold because I don't know if it's like that big of a bold statement because it very well could happen. I'm going to say that the Jacksonville Jaguars make the Kansas City Chiefs 0-2 and the Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2, and they're not having themselves a very good time after week 2. I'm going to say another bold prediction. I'm going to say after having no touchdowns on and in week 1, I'm going to say that Mr. Joe Burrow goes out against that Baltimore Ravens defense. Yes, the Ravens are good, but I'm going to say that Joe Burrow has at least 4 touchdowns. And I guess it might not be too bold, but after not having 0 touchdowns in week 1, it's pretty bold to say that he's going to go out there. Or, I mean, I could even say Anthony Richardson will have 4 touchdowns too, because if Anthony Richardson plays against that Texans defense, I think Anthony Richardson could have a very good game. So I won't say Joe Burrow. I'll say Anthony Richardson at least has 4 total touchdowns on Sunday against those Houston Texans. And lastly, I am going to say that I don't know if it's ever happened, but I'm going to say that the Dallas Cowboys defense goes out again and scores 50 more fantasy points, and they put up 100 fantasy points in 2 weeks of action. The Dallas Cowboys defense is going to have 100 fantasy points before anybody else. I'm booking it. Book it now. I'm telling you right now. So those are my bold predictions for week 2. So now let's get to the waiver wires, and let's start talking about the guys you need to pick up, you need to drop, you need to start, sit, and stream, and all of that good stuff. So first, before we get into the starts, the sits, and the streams of the week, let's get to those waiver wires, and let me tell you those 5 guys that I think you should pick up here in week 2 of the fantasy football and the NFL regular season. At number 5, I'm going to go from the Philadelphia Eagles. It looks like we might have a Philadelphia Eagle. We might have a Philadelphia Eagle RB1 on our hands, as Kenneth Gainwell had a very good game last week. So if you have a waiver wire option and you need a running back, I think Kenneth Gainwell is a very good pickup this week. And I think that he will go out there and have himself a very, very good game. So Kenneth Gainwell, number 5. Now, number 4, I'm going to go with Kyren Williams for the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm going to tell you why he is not higher on my list. And that is because, for the simple fact that he is going up against those San Francisco 49ers. And honestly, I don't know how to feel about those San Francisco 49ers, because that defense is nasty. And this could be very well a week where, again, it's week 1. So do you guys remember 3 years in a row, guys, we've had Mr. Sammy Watkins go out there and have himself a phenomenal game. And then Sammy Watkins, after that, does absolutely nothing. So we could very well see that happen again. And with Sammy Watkins, it's one of those things that it's just like, I don't know if, obviously we're talking about different players here, but I'm just saying, there's times where we go and we go out and get these guys, and then it was just a week 1 fantasy, and then they suck for the rest of the year. So, yeah. I'm just saying, just be careful about that. So that's why Kyren Williams is so low on my list, because the 49ers defense is just nasty. Now, tight ends, guys, we always need a tight end. And if you need a tight end, if Hayden Hurst was drafted, if Pat Freiermuth was drafted, Tyler Higbee, if somebody picked up the dude from Buffalo, if somebody picked up Gerald Everett, I think somebody that may be on your waiver wire that is at least worth a pickup, because you can never have too many tight ends, because the tight end position, as I said, absolutely sucks. And it's so hard to just predict these tight ends. So I'm going to go Hayden Hurst. I'm going to go Hayden Hurst. If he's available, I'd go get Hayden Hurst. But if he's not available, I would go get Hunter Henry from the New England Patriots, because the New England Patriots went out and put on an absolute good fight up against the defending NFC champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, Hunter Henry obviously got a touchdown, and that helped him, but that's all we really ask for from tight ends. So if him and Mac Jones got a good connection, then let's hope for the best. So Hunter Henry taking on the Dolphins this week, possibly a very good option. Now, the Cleveland Browns, guys. Cleveland Browns went out and made Joe Burrow look like a quarterback that was playing in Pee Wee League. And the Cleveland Browns defensive ends, the pass rush, and everything that they went out and did, they went out there and put on a show. And now they're going up against and facing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Najee Harris is nowhere to be found. George Pickens might very well be the only guy that we might trust in that team. Kenny Pickett, I don't know what to do about Kenny Pickett. And they just got destroyed by the San Francisco 49ers. So the Browns very well might just go out there and do the same thing. So if you have an option and you stream defenses, go out and get our guy, the Cleveland Browns, the dog pound. Can I get a this is awesome? I don't know. I was trying to do something for the Miz, but Miz would love this pick. Go get those Cleveland Browns, the dog pound, and start them in your fantasy football league this week. Number one waiver wire pickup for me this week. Obviously, we have other guys that you could go get. Joshua Kelly, just depending on injuries, possibly Tutu from the Los Angeles Rams. We could talk about the dude that went out and had 17 plus points for the Los Angeles Rams. But I do not want to put that guy on the list because I worry that guy is going to go out there and score 4 points next week. And it was just all a big facade. And yeah, so out of those Rams receivers, I would rather go after Tutu than go after the other guy. So I will not be putting him on the list. But check him out if you want to. But for me, my number one waiver wire pickup for the week is Brock Purdy for the San Francisco 49ers. He had 2 touchdowns to Brandon Ayuk. The weapons on that team is ridiculous. So if you need a quarterback, if you're struggling at quarterback or you're freaking out or you just want to have a backup quarterback, go out and get Brock Purdy and have yourself a good time. So Brock Purdy, I think you should come over and get on my fantasy team. So those are my top 5 pickups for week 2 of the fantasy football season. Before we get to the start, sits, and streams, let's see what the chat's saying. Jay just said, oh, okay. He said 30 to 7, maybe. He said, this is not, what's not awesome about it? I mean, I think my show's pretty awesome. What's wrong? What's wrong with the show? What do you mean it's not awesome? What do you mean, Jadis? That's not nice. Jadis, you're supposed to be like, this is awesome. This is awesome. Well, I don't understand, bro. What the heck? You don't think this is awesome? I think this is pretty awesome. You know, Jadis said, nah, I don't like this stuff. No, because you said Miz. You said no, because I was just trying to give the Miz a shout out, you know. Sometimes, you know, Miz is a good guy. So now, guys, let's get into my favorite time of the episode as we go and we talk about the starts, the sits, and the streams for week 2 and the guys that you need to put in your lineup to take out of your lineup. And then the guys that you take out of your lineup, you can replace these guys with the guys in your lineup. I know that might be a lot harder to follow than I may have made it seem to be, but hopefully you guys understand and hopefully we get it. So, yeah, but let's get into those starts, sits, and streams for week 2 of the fantasy football season. And we're going to start off with, and let's go with the starts of the week. And I'm going to say you start Jared Goff for the Detroit Lions, taking on those Seattle Seahawks. We saw how the Seattle Seahawks went out, and they didn't do it wasn't a very good game as they expected. Geno Smith didn't do very good, and they just made Matthew Stafford look a lot better than maybe he should have. So I think Jared Goff is going to go out there and have himself a very good performance, a very good day, and I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to be on their own, and they're going to have themselves a good time. So Jared Goff, put in your starting lineup in this week, depending on your quarterback. Now, this one, you're obviously starting him, but I just want to make sure because I already saw somebody trying to trade Josh Allen. And the fact you're trying to trade Josh Allen, just like if you want to trade all these guys, I'll take them all. I'll take Mahomes. I'll take Allen. I'll take every single one of them if you want to give him to me. So this guy, you make sure you keep him in your fantasy football lineup. It is Patrick Mahomes. Guys, Patrick Mahomes is going to go out there and ball out, and he's going to put on an absolute show against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to bounce back. Hopefully, Travis Kelce plays, and I think that Patrick Mahomes is going to be perfectly fine. Aaron Jones owned the Bears, and now Aaron Jones is going to go as long as Aaron Jones plays, because he is on the injury report. Obviously, he was injured during the Bears game. He got stretched out. It didn't look to be too serious, but as I say, as always, it is only Tuesday and everything, so keep an eye out for Aaron Jones. But if he plays for your fantasy football team. Alexander Mattison very well might have proven that he is the number one running back for the Minnesota Vikings. And the Philadelphia Eagles, they did not do like we thought they would do last week. And they actually, they got the win, but the Patriots put up a fight. So I think Alexander Mattison is a good start this week. Number one running back for the Vikings. He's a pass catcher. He runs after the catch, and I think that Alexander Mattison is a good start this week. Now for the wide receivers. Let's go Zay Flowers from the Baltimore Ravens, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The wide receiver proved that him and Lamar had himself a good time, and I think Lamar is going to bounce back, and Lamar is going to have a better week than he had last week. Calvin Ridley taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Calvin Ridley went out there on week 1. He proved it doesn't matter how long you don't play football for. As long as you do your job and you do your work, you'll be able to do your thing. So Calvin Ridley, feel better to put him in your fantasy football lineup against those Kansas City Chiefs. Now, let's get into those tight ends. The tight ends, Sam Laporta on Thursday night, guys. He was very impressive. And Sam Laporta, he very well might be a start out every week this week because, as I said earlier, the tight end position is just getting thinner and thinner by the days with Mark Andrews hurt, Travis Kelce possibly, hopefully coming back, but not official yet. We saw Pat Freiermuth get hurt. We saw Greg Dulcich get hurt. We saw other guys get hurt. We saw, like I said, there were 2 guys that nobody thought to start in week 1 that were the best 2 tight ends in week 1. So Sam Laporta is a start for me at tight end. Another tight end to start. It's Thursday night. I know it might be hard to start a Thursday night tight end, but Dallas Goedert, I think, is going to have at least a catch this week. And as long as Dallas Goedert has a catch this week, Dallas Goedert will have a better week than he had last week because, as we spoke about earlier, he had a big goose egg. So Dallas Goedert, Minnesota Vikings, put him in your lineup. I feel really good about Dallas Goedert this week. Now, the starting defense for the week, to me, possibly the Browns defense. The Browns defense going up against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. Remember, next Monday night, we will be here live at 6:15 for both games of the Monday Night Football doubleheader as we start at 6 o'clock, and then we go and we watch Monday Night Football and Monday Night Raw for a 4-hour live stream here on Monday night next week. So put the Browns in your lineup and come and hang out with your boy Tino. Now, let's get to the sits of the week and the guys that I need you to take out of the lineup, and I just do not feel very good about it. And I actually wrote this before yesterday's Monday Night Football game. So my first sit of the week was going to be Aaron Rodgers either way, even if he played, because did anybody see that Dallas Cowboys defense? Because that Dallas Cowboys defense was absolutely disgusting. So Zach Wilson, I don't think Zach Wilson's going to have a good game on Sunday. So don't start Zach Wilson, and don't think that Zach Wilson's going to be a starting quarterback for a fantasy football team this year when there are 31 other better quarterbacks on other teams. Now, Matthew Stafford. We saw what the Giants did to, or the San Francisco 49ers did to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now Matthew Stafford gets to go and play them. That's why I'm worried about Tutu. That's why I'm worried about the other guy that everybody's going to go and spend all their fab money on this week. Because maybe go and get them, but I'm not trusting, honestly, any Rams this week. I'd sit Cam Akers. I'd sit every single Rams position player if you have them, because I'm not trusting the Rams this week. So they are actually on my sit for running backs and wide receivers. So just stay away from the running backs, wide receivers, and everything from the Los Angeles Rams. The other thing I want to sit is the Washington Commanders backfield. Brian Robinson seemed to be getting more receptions and carries than Antonio Gibson, and I just don't know if I want to mess with the Shanahanigans. I know Mike Shanahan isn't there. I know everything like that, but it's still shenanigans to me all the time. So the Washington Commanders running backs, I just cannot trust them only in week 2 of the fantasy football season. Now, if it was week 10, possibly. We'll have to see. But let's hope we're not relying on Antonio Gibson or Brian Robinson in the playoffs. Now, the other wide receiver I'm going to tell you to sit this week, it's Treylon Burks from the Tennessee Titans. And he very well might go out there and do his thing and have himself a very good game. But Treylon Burks doesn't seem to be Ryan Tannehill's favorite target. It seems like obviously it's more of Derrick Henry. They got this new running back. It kind of reminds me of a Darren Sproles type of a guy. They got DeAndre Hopkins. They got other guys that I think that Ryan Tannehill is going to throw to that's not named Treylon Burks. So if you have better options, make sure to put Treylon Burks in your lineup and put him on your bench, I should say. Not put him in your lineup. Put him on your bench because Treylon Burks is, I just don't know. Now, tight ends to sit. There is no tight ends to sit, guys, because what tight end are we going to sit? We can't sit a tight end because the tight end that we sit is the one that goes off. So I'm just going to tell you to start all your tight ends because I don't know what to tell you. But don't sit any tight ends because in reality, all we need from a tight end is to get a touchdown, a couple receptions, and that's about it. So make sure that you don't sit any tight ends and you just pick the best tight end that you think will score a touchdown. Now, the sitting defense of the week is going to be those Jacksonville Jaguars. The Kansas City Chiefs, guys, if the Kansas City Chiefs are anything of mad about what happened on Thursday night, they are going to go out there and destroy the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm not saying destroy like it's not going to be a game, but I'm just saying it's going to be like 45 to like 28, and the Kansas City Chiefs are just going to score a lot of points. So I would sit the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. But again, thank you, Warren. Thank you, my man Buzzing with Warren, for dropping for picking up the Jacksonville Jaguars defense and dropping Breece Hall. I'll take it all day long. Now, lastly, before we get into everything else and my NFL picks and my 3 guarantees of week 2, let's get into and let's take a look at the streamers of week 1 and the streamers or week 2, I should say. I'm sorry. The streamers of week 2 that I think you have a better chance to put in your lineup that have a better chance than the guys I just told you to sit. So let's start with these quarterbacks. These quarterbacks are not 2 quarterbacks I thought I'd be saying in week 2, but here we are. Now, Anthony Richardson taking on those Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are god-awful. They had the 2nd pick in the draft. They took Will Anderson, and yes, they're building, they're doing their thing, but Anthony Richardson very well might have 4 touchdowns this week. So if you need a streamer, if you're in a 2-quarterback league and you don't have 2 great quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson might be very well be a good name. And I can't even believe I'm doing this, guys, but I'm telling you to start Baker Mayfield against the Chicago Bears. Did anybody see how that Chicago Bears defense looked against Mr. Jordan Love? Because I guess everybody in Wisconsin is feeling the love, and we all Wisconsinans and yada, 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 and we wear cheeseheads on our head. So, I don't know. But Baker Mayfield against the Chicago Bears defense, very good streamer this week. Tyler Algier. It don't matter if Bijan Robinson is there because Tyler Algier still had himself a very good game. So it might be a committee in Atlanta, but they both might go out there and have themselves a very good game. So if you need a streaming running back, if you just need a running back to pick up in general, go pick up Tyler Algier and see what he does for you. Rachaad White from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I don't know why I'm putting so many Buccaneers on here, but I think I just accepted the fact that the Bears suck and that it is what it is. So, Rachaad White, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, I'd start all your Buccaneers this week. George Pickens, Cleveland Browns, Deontay Johnson out, Pat Freiermuth out. Only person to throw to is George Pickens. So you start George Pickens. You stream him this week if you have him as a wide receiver. Now, Hunter Henry, I told you to pick him up and you stream him this week against the Miami Dolphins. Hayden Hurst, I said Hayden Hurst also. You go pick him up and you start him against this New Orleans Saints because we always need tight ends and everything else like that. But I will say about those Saints, those mighty, mighty Saints might be very good because I'm going to say you stream them this week and I'm going to tell you that you have and you do yourself a favor And let's see what the Saints can do against that Bryce Young leading offense and see if the Saints could get a pick 6 or 2. So that's what we're going to go down here for that. And those are all of my starts, my streams, and everything else for the week. So if you're just joining us, I want to say thank you guys for coming and hanging out. If you guys got any questions for me, let me know. Let me know what you guys are feeling, how you guys are feeling, and everything like that. So, yeah. But now let's get into and let's go and let's talk and let's get into the actual NFL for a second. And let's go over all of the games that we will be having here go down in and on week 2 of the NFL season. And as I said last week, guys, we are going to take the games every single week from the games, the actual NFL games, and I'm going to come here and I'm going to pick the games. So before we pick the games for this week, let's see what my record was from last week. So I took the Chiefs to beat the Lions. I'm 0-1. I picked the Vikings to beat the Buccaneers. I'm 0-2. I picked the Bears to beat the Packers. I'm 0-3. I picked the Panthers to beat the Falcons 0-4. 0-5 because I picked the Bengals to beat the Browns. I'm really bad at this. I did get one right. I got one right in the Jaguars beating the Colts. So we are now 1-5. 1-5. We got the Saints beating the Titans. I think I said the Saints. So I'll say 2-5. 49ers 3-5. I did say the Washington Commanders so we're getting better. We're 4-5. 4-5, feeling better. Houston Texans 5-5. 5-5. 5-game win streak. 5-game losing streak. Number 16. We took, and I took the Raiders. There were 6-5 now. 7-5. I took the Eagles to beat the Patriots. I picked and I took the Chargers to beat the Dolphins, so we're 6-6. I took the Seahawks, so we're 6-7. I took the Dallas Cowboys. We're 7-7. We're 6-7, 7-7. And then we took the Buffalo Bills. So we finish off week 1 at 7-8. So I need to write that down. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to write that down. We are 7-8 so far in week 1. So let's see what happens week 2, and let's see what goes down. So 7-8 for week 1, and let's go through week 2, and let's see who we got going and what we got going down for the week 2 NFL games. So we got the Vikings and Eagles on Thursday night. I'm going to take those Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to take the Green Bay Fudge Packers to defeat the Atlanta Falcons. I'll say that the Cincinnati Bengals defeat the Baltimore Ravens by 3 points. I'll take the Seattle Seahawks to defeat the Detroit Lions. I will say that we will have, and I will take the Los Angeles Chargers to beat the Tennessee Titans. We have the Chicago Bears taking on Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. I got to stick with my Chicago Bears, guys. I think the Bears will do it. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to get their first W against the Jaguars. I'll take the Colts to defeat the Texans, 49ers to defeat the Rams, Cardinals to defeat the Giants, Commanders to defeat the Broncos, Dolphins defeat the Patriots, Saints defeat the Panthers, Browns defeat the Steelers, Bills defeat the Raiders, and them boys defeat those mighty New York Giants. And then Monday Night Football, guys, as you guys know, we got 2 Monday Night Football games, which is, and I want to make sure, it is it is the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it is the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. So those 2 games will be on Monday night, and we will be here live on Tino's Time. And speaking of games that we will be watching here on the live stream, I want to right now, after putting up the vote on Sunday night during halftime, I put 1 noon game I put one 3 o'clock game, and I picked the Sunday night game. So it was the Dolphins and the Patriots. It was the Rams and the 49ers. And then it was at noon, the Kansas City Chiefs against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was thinking about possibly doing the Bills and Dolphins, or not the Bills and Dolphins, to do the Bills and Raiders because they are also on at noon. But I felt like the Jaguars and Chiefs would be a better game. So I chose those 3 games. And after let's see what the vote was at. I want to see. Oh, we lost. We got it. We got to get that like that. After reading and having the vote, guys, we have a vote of, I want to make sure, we have a vote of 70% that you guys will be here, coming here, and you guys want to be watching on Sunday those Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars in a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. So come and hang out, guys, this Sunday at noon as we go live for the noon games this week. I shouldn't say not today, this week on Sunday for the noon games. As we watch all the noon games, we have ourselves a good time, and then we leave for the 3 o'clock and the Sunday night games, and then so on and so forth, and how you guys know that we do everything like that. So you guys voted, and that is the game you guys want to watch this Sunday on the live stream. So hopefully you guys will come here and hang out on Sunday. We also, remember, we got Madden on Saturday. You guys are still voting right now to let me know when you guys want to play Madden, if you guys want to play Madden in the morning, or if you want to play Madden at night and then play WWE in the morning, or the other way around. So we'll let that vote go until probably tomorrow, and I'll announce the winner of that tomorrow on the Dynamite live stream. So, but keep voting, guys. But we got Madden this week. We got the Chiefs and the Jaguars. I don't know why we're doing the Chiefs 2 weeks in a row, but hopefully, and maybe the following week, we will not pick the Chiefs or the Jaguars. I'm going to try to pick a new team every single week because I don't want to go live just every single week for the Bears games or every single live for just the Chiefs. You know, I want to pick different games every week. Obviously, we're still watching all the games, but, you know, I like to have a game we focus on, you know. So, yeah, but those are all of my games, and those are all of my picks for the week. We will go over it next week to see it and see how much better I did. But as of right now, I'm sitting at 7-8 and not doing very good on my picks. So that's what we got going down this week for football. That's the game we're going to be watching. And those are all my starts, sits, and streams. And those are all my NFL picks for week 1, or week 2, I should say, of the fantasy football season. Now let's go into my 3 guarantees of week 1 or week 2 that I think guarantee, and I guarantee you it's going to happen. Okay, so 1, I guarantee you if Travis Kelce plays, I guarantee you Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce have 2 touchdowns together, and they're having themselves a very good time. Number 2, I guarantee you that the New York Jets are not going to be as good as everybody thinks they're going to be. The Dallas Cowboys are literally going to put them in their place on Sunday, and the Dallas Cowboys are going to be sitting there and laughing in their face. And the Dallas Cowboys are going to be like, you thought you were them boys, or you thought you were the Jets? Well, the boys decided to show you who we really are. So I guarantee you that the Cowboys are going to smack the Jets back into reality, and New York fans are not going to be believing in Zach Wilson after this week. But again, if I'm wrong, I'll come on here I'll come on here and say I'm wrong. But that's what I think is going to happen. And my last guarantee of the week, and I guarantee you, God darn it, that Joe Burrow, after only having 81 yards, will throw at least 1 touchdown to T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. Hopefully he has more, but Joe Burrow is going to get his first touchdown in 2023, and he's going to be doing that against the Baltimore Ravens. So that's what I think, and those are my 3 guarantees for week 2 of the NFL regular season and the fantasy football season. So lastly, what we got to do here before I forget, because we always, want to make sure we got through everything, make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I got through it all. Yes, I did. So we are good. So let's get to the comments. Let's see if anybody's got any good questions. Anybody's got any good stuff. Jay just said this is not awesome. I will be surprised if the New York Jets go to the playoffs. I do not believe the New York Jets are going to go to the playoffs. Seahawks and Lions going to be a good one. I think it will be. Sloppy. What's sloppy? You're sloppy? Bro, I'm telling you, bro, Dallas Goedert got to do something for your boy Tino, bro. Something for your boy Tino, bro. Something. We got Aaron Rodgers, calf people last night. Yeah, bro. Bro, did you guys see that thing that said that the Packers literally paid Aaron Rodgers $75 million to run out on the field? Like, that's awful. But we got Snags in the building. What's up, Snags? How you doing, bro? He says, I got Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Michael Pittman, Miles Sanders, Breece Hall, Mark Andrews, Tyler Algier, Cam Akers, Brandon Cooks, Musgrave, Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, Tank, Goff, Kupp, Jonathan Taylor. Waiver wire, Myers, Mooney, Dubs, Sutton, or Naka. Honestly, I know everybody is having like a mental breakdown about this guy from the Rams, but guys, they are playing the San Francisco 49ers. Did anybody watch the game? Did anybody not see the San Francisco 49ers put a whooping on the Pittsburgh Steelers and make the Pittsburgh Steelers their child? I mean, I do not trust them at all. So that's my biggest thing. So if you need a wide receiver, honestly, I look at like a Kendrick Bourne, maybe a Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is dealing with an injury though. So it doesn't look like Jacoby Myers is going to be actually like in, and he might not even play this week. So there's so many injuries and so many crazy things that I just don't know. But if you're going to, Snags, go after a Jacoby Myers, maybe a Tutu. Like, I'd rather have Tutu, to be honest. I'd rather have Tutu, to be honest, than the other guy. So that's what I would do with that. But that is all of the stuff. Chris says the Jets will miss the playoffs, be 10-7. So the last thing I want to do here before we go, I want to take off the fantasy football thing. We're going to put ourselves in the nice Tino's house. We're going to sit back, relax, and strap it down. No, I'm just kidding. So before we go here, guys, I want to, and there's been a lot of questions. Okay, so I would drop before we get into we got to say, I would drop, and I would say that you would drop out of those two, maybe Brandon Cooks, because I don't know who Dak's going to exactly throw to, but he does love CeeDee Lamb, and Dak didn't look so good on Sunday Night Football. So I would drop Marquise Brown. Brandon Cooks, not Marquise. Because Marquise could be good. And honestly, the Cardinals didn't look great, but they didn't look as bad as I thought I thought they would look a lot worse on Sunday than they did. I mean, the Commanders might not be that good, but like I just thought the Cardinals would score no points. So, yeah. But I would drop Brandon Cooks for that one. So, thank you for all the questions. If you guys got any more, let me know, and I will drop them, and I will answer them after we show you. And there's been a lot of questions. There's been a lot of things going on, and there's been a lot of stuff that everybody has been asking me. And I've been telling you guys about what's going on and what's coming up in November and everything like that. So I decided that yesterday I wanted to go out, and I decided to make a little picture for you guys. So if you guys want to take a look at it, I'm going to go over it real quick. I'm going to continue to go over it. I'm going to actually make a video tomorrow and talk more about it. But I wanted to show you guys that are here. I'm going to show you guys again that are on tonight for NXT. I'm going to show you guys on the episodes, but I am also going to make another video so you guys can go and watch that specific video to know all of the information. But I made this picture, And I want to show you guys because, as you guys know, in the month of November, after baseball season ends, we're going to be having a little changes here to Tino's Time. So I wanted to give you guys a visual, and I decided to make this little picture for you guys. And obviously, things will still be subject to change because just depending on like what's going on that week or whatever. But here's the schedule for Tino's Time starting in the month of November and ending in the month of February, the week of the Super Bowl. So the Sunday after the Super Bowl, we'll be having another schedule change, and I'll be letting you guys know then. But this is the schedule starting in November until the end of the football season. So Monday, we will be here for Monday Night Football and Monday Night Raw as we usually are. Tuesdays, we will be here just for this episode. Tuesdays will be all about football as we got to make sure we set those lineups, get your waiver wires in, get your lineup set and everything else. We will not be doing NXT on Tuesday nights until February 2024. So NXT is gone on Tuesday nights. We will still be doing the NXT pay-per-views and the premium live events, or if they have like an NXT Heat Wave or an NXT Great American Bash, if they have something like that going down on a Tuesday night, we will go live for that. But if it's just a regular Tuesday, no more regular Tuesdays until February. And then Wednesdays, as you guys can see, it's turning into WWE 2K23 day. No more Dynamites, but we will kind of be live for Dynamite because on Wednesdays, we will be here in the morning as we have the My GM episodes series. I will be doing some of them live because we won't be live for Dynamite. So I'll be doing some of them live, but some of them will not be live. But what will be live on Wednesdays is Wednesdays nights at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time as we come here, and it is dedicated to WWE 2K23. So as I was telling you guys yesterday, having some changes coming to the 2K game, we are going to, and instead of doing like 50,000 matches or us sitting here and watching like 40 matches go down, I want to start doing challenges. I want to start doing where like this week we're doing you guys choose the matches. So you guys are going to write all of your best matches that you guys got. And I'm going to pick 10 of my favorite matches that I think everybody will enjoy. And I think that it will be a very good time. So Wednesdays, starting in November, we'll still be live on Saturdays in the morning or night, depending on what you guys vote for WWE 2K23 and Madden on Saturdays. But starting in November, Wednesday nights and Wednesdays are dedicated to WWE 2K23. Now, Thursday night football, guys, the Southside Boys ends for the summer. We'll be back next summer, though, don't you worry. But until then, come here every single week as we watch Thursday Night Football live on Tino's Time, live on Amazon Prime, whatever channel that you watch it on. Thursday Night Football, guys, is here. Friday Night SmackDown. We ain't going nowhere for Friday Night Cinema, guys. I can't leave Friday Night Cinema. I love Friday Night Cinema. It's the best weekly show ever. So Friday Night SmackDown, same as usual. Come here every Friday night and let's watch Friday Night SmackDown. Now, Saturdays, as long as there's not a pay-per-view on, we will be playing Madden. So if there's a pay-per-view on, that Saturday will be dedicated to the pay-per-view. So Saturdays, as long as there's not a pay-per-view or a premium live event on, we will be here for Madden 24 every single Saturday as we play some Madden and we get ready for the week of football on that Sunday. And then Sunday, as we did this past Sunday, it's Sunday football, baby. It's going to be either noon, 3 o'clock, or 7 o'clock. You guys choose every single week what game you want to watch, and we'll be here on Sunday for it. So Sundays, Saturdays are dedicated to football. Obviously, unless there is a pay-per-view going down on that Saturday. Then we will skip Madden for the week, and we'll come back to it the following week. Because obviously, we'd rather watch the pay-per-view than sit here and play Madden. So that is everything like that. We will still be doing retro pay-per-views. We will still be doing preview shows for the AEW shows. We'll be doing preview shows for the NXT pay-per-views. We'll still be doing all of that. Pretty much what we're doing is we're just taking away NXT and AEW until football season is over. So that's the best way for me to explain it. But I hope this visual helped you guys. And I hope this helps you guys take a look at what will be coming down. And again, this isn't until November. So we still got all of September. We still got all of October. But the first week of November is when all of this will take into effect. And I will continue to tell you guys about this every single episode, every day. And I'm going to make a video, as I said, tomorrow, explaining pretty much everything I said right now, but talking a little bit more about it. So, guys, thank you all so much for coming here. I want to say thank you guys all for spending your time with me. I hope that helped you guys all kind of have a little visual. So he says, can I drop Dak? I have Josh Allen as my quarterback, and I pick up Zay Flowers. I mean, if you have Josh Allen as your quarterback, I feel like you really don't need another quarterback until a bye week, and you could pick up that quarterback in the bye week. So honestly, I would do that because Dak is just, I don't know. I have Dak in one of mine, but I kind of have to keep him because there's no other quarterbacks available. And yeah, so it just depends on what type of a league you're in. But I would go get Zay Flowers if you could. Chris says, what is your thoughts about Nia Jax? So we will definitely be talking more about Nia Jax tonight when we go live for NXT. But I will say this. I don't understand why she's here. I'm interested to see what she does, but I just don't know how I feel about Nia Jax getting an opportunity before obviously women like Xia Li, Tegan Knox, Candice LeRae, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, Indy Hartwell, etc., etc., etc. I just don't know what it is about Nia Jax. We also have the WWE Endeavor. The UFC and the WWE merger is officially done. So that is what's going down in the WWE. And as I said, we will talk more about that this tonight on NXT. And maybe I'll even do a video on Wednesday or tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Maybe Thursday, I'll do a video on about how I feel about Nia Jax and how I feel about the Endeavor and what I really think is going to happen. So keep a lookout for those 2 extra videos possibly coming out in the next couple days. So, yeah. But that is what I got going down here for you guys now. I appreciate all you guys coming here, hanging out with me as we talked everything fantasy football. And we talked everything schedule changes and a little wrestling. So, I think we covered it all, guys. But remember, in just 3 short hours, we will be back here for NXT tonight as we watch this card go down with Axiom and Nathan Frazier. We got, or Tyler Bate and Axiom, I should say. We got Nathan Frazier taking on Akira Tozawa. We got Wes Lee taking on Eganol Dragunov. And then we got the NXT Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton with her biggest match of her career as she takes on the Big Tom. Big Tom Bex is showing up to NXT. So let's see what goes down here tonight on NXT. We'll talk more about the Endeavor. We'll talk more about Nia Jax and talk more about everything else going on in the wrestling world at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Blue Pray's got a question real quick. Garrett Wilson for Brandon Ayuk? I mean, I would say yes, but the fact that Zach Wilson is the quarterback now scares the hell out of me. Yes, Zach Wilson threw a touchdown to Garrett Wilson, and yes, Zach Wilson hopefully will be better than what we thought and what we were expecting, but I don't know how to feel about that. So honestly, I'd keep Brandon Ayuk. You have Wilson. If you could get Brandon Ayuk for Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson, I would do that. Because I mean, yes, you might be selling low on him, and it very well might not work out. But Brandon Ayuk being in that offense is really, really good. He says, but I have Debo. Honestly, Oh, if you do, okay. So if you have Debo, that changes everything. So yeah, Dylan, I see your question, bro. I just wanted to get through Blue Praise question. So that changes it. So if you have Debo, I do not do that trade because I do not want to have two wide receivers on the same team. That's just how I feel. So yeah. But Dylan's got a question. Team in full PPR. He's got Geno, Anthony Richardson, Tony Pollard, James Cook, Raheem Mostert, Khalil Herbert, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, Hollywood Browns, Mark Andrews, and Isaiah Likely. And he asked, his question is, any trades I should do? Nobody went off, so may have to wait a week. Quarterback, wide receiver. I mean, yeah, but Anthony Richardson, I think, could be very, very good. And depending on, how you feel, maybe you run with Anthony Richardson this week. And, honestly, it's kind of crazy that you say that you need a wide receiver too, because if you had Stephon Diggs and DeAndre Hopkins about 3 years ago, you would have the number one and number two wide receivers in the NFL. So the fact that we're even talking about like that is kind of crazy. So I definitely get and definitely understand you want to definitely upgrade. And if you want to upgrade, maybe you take somebody like a Raheem Mostert, because shout out to my man Corey, Fantasy Armchair over there on Armchair Athletes. Go check out Corey on Fantasy Football Armchair every all the time. He goes live, helps you out with questions, videos, start sits, etc. So, but if you're going to make a trade, I would definitely use and kind of sell high on Raheem Mostert because Jeff Wilson is out. Nobody really is to be trusted in that offense of the Dolphins and the running back situation. And Raheem Mostert could go out there and have himself very good games like he did in week one. So if you're looking for an upgrade for a wide receiver too, maybe you take somebody where you have him and you be like, hey, Mostert got a touchdown. He did what he needed to do. And maybe somebody bites. So, and that's the thing. You always want to make sure that you have depth in other positions that you don't have. Missy says, I'm getting back. I've got my haircut. I could see him being a top 10. Yeah, that's the thing. I just don't know if Garrett Wilson is going to be that way with Zach Wilson. I mean, that's just my biggest thing. It's like, it could be. It could very well be. But I just don't know. So, like I said, if you're going to maybe take a Raheem Mostert and try to like package him, maybe you package him with somebody like a Hollywood Brown, maybe Michael Thomas, maybe somebody sees the Michael Thomas name and is like, ooh, Michael Thomas. Some people do that. Some people I just want the names on my team. Yeah, what kind of wide receivers? Probably like Mostert and like Michael Thomas. Probably for like, I would say somebody like I can't speak right now. Maybe like a Chris Godwin. Can't speak. Sorry, guys. My bad. Somebody like that, because obviously you're not going to get like a Stephon Diggs. You already have Diggs. I'm sorry. You're not going to get like a Chris Olave. You're not going to get a Justin Jefferson, somebody like that. But you could very well get possibly a Devontae Smith. You could go and get, as I just said, you go and get somebody out like that. Maybe somebody will give up on T. Higgins because T. Higgins at 0 points. So maybe somebody wants to give up T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins is going to be perfectly fine. And people do panic. Like, I got a trade offer, and I was going to actually ask you guys what you guys thought. I got a trade offer for Chris Olave and Deebo Samuel for Amari Cooper and DJ Moore. And the guy that sent me the trade, he says that he wants, and the reason why he wants DJ Moore is because he has Justin Fields. So I'm thinking about doing that because then I have Chris Olave, I get Deebo Samuel, I have 2 flexes that, and if he wants to stack Justin Fields and DJ Moore, I mean, hey, I'm all about it. And no problem, Dylan. If you got any more questions, let me know, bro. I all the time in the world to answer your questions. If you got any more questions after the episode, go and drop them in the episode in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter. Whatever you got to do, bro, ask me all the questions. I'm here for you. So, guys, after an hour and 20 minutes, I appreciate every single one of you guys coming and hanging out. Make sure you guys drop more questions, more comments, more concerns in the comments. And as soon as I see them, I will answer them. But, guys, that is all I have here for you today. That is all I have for you for week 2, the week 1 preview, the week 1 recap, and the week 2 preview is officially in the books. So, yeah, I agree. I love Olave. Debo is iffy, but as you said, he's on a great offense. So that's the big thing. All Debo really needs to do is catch one, run 60 yards, and Debo's got himself a touchdown. So, I mean, yeah. So, but yeah, no problem, Dylan. I got you, bro. But, guys, if you're like Dylan and you want more fantasy football help or any help with anything, go follow all these social medias down below. Tino's Tom Wrestling, Tino's Tom 1996. If you love baseball, go follow the Southside Boys as we will be live here Thursday for episode number 26. Yes, we still got baseball to play, guys. We still got to talk about it. We got to get through the season. I'm sorry, but we got to. We just can't give up at the end of the day. So make sure you guys go follow all the social medias. Become a member of the channel. Leave a super chat or 2, all that good stuff. Make sure you go get yourself some Tino's Tom merchandise, Southside Boys merchandise on bonfire.com/Tino's Tom and Southside Boys, all that good stuff. But if you can't do any of that, make sure that you guys go and try to hit that like button. You guys, make sure you hit that like button on this episode. We got another question real quick. Yo, should I trade away Miles Sanders to get Kamara? I mean, depending on what your running backs are, if you have the opportunity to get Alvin Kamara, and if you can be able to put him on your IR spot and you still have 2 good weapons, I would. Because Miles Sanders, I don't know how to feel about Miles Sanders this year. I really don't. Because the Panthers offense is just, I don't know what they're going to be like with Bryce Young. And if they're going to be in the same type of growing pains like Justin Fields, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, if they were all in the same situation. So I don't know. And it's not like the Panthers have a number 1 wide receiver. I mean, they traded their best receiver to the Bears to get Bryce Young. So their best receivers now is Hayden Hurst. They got Jonathan Mingo. They got, guys like that. But I don't know. So, yeah. But I would definitely, if you could get Kamara and you still have 2 good running backs, I definitely would do it. So, Super C and B challengers, thank you, bro, for stopping by. I appreciate you. So, guys, that is all that I have here for you. As I say, go do all that good stuff, but make sure you hit that like button on this episode. You subscribe on the road to 2K. We are on the road to 1,300 officially. We're only 70 subscribers away to 1,300. So make sure that you go and hit that subscribe button if you haven't. If I've helped you at all, if any of this football advice has helped you, if you guys love my entertainment, if you love the wrestling content, if you love anything about Tino's Tom, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So, guys, do that. And lastly, turn that notification button on so you know when new episodes, shorts, live streams, and everything comes out. So, guys, have a great rest of your Tuesday afternoon, and I will see you all here tonight live at 7 p.m. back on Tino's Tom for NXT.